Well, hello heroes and villains. My name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little bit since we did an Adoptable Dragon or a critter for the Kathy's Critter Cafe, and so we are back for another one, which is really exciting. It's been almost a year and I finally decided to do another one. We are here for our critter for the Halloween month. Well, technically it will be Halloween when I upload this. It's a little bit late, I do apologize, but you will be having a critter for today's video, and I'm very excited to share this one with you. This is a part of my readathon, the Library of Dragons Readathon, which is a D&D inspired readathon. This is going to be a critter which is completely optional. There is no benefit to the readathon. It does not give you any perks. It's just for fun if you want to adopt, you know, a little dragon critter. So again, optional if you are part of my readathon. If you want to take part in my readathon, I have a playlist for it. I will put it down below in the description. But with that aside, let's talk about the critter themselves. Also, you will see an announcement coming up very soon for the next chapter, so I do apologize that's a little bit later than expected as well, but it will be coming out in November, I promise you that. So let's get into the actual critter themselves and let's talk about them. For Halloween Day, we have a critter that's a little bit creepy and a little bit cute, and that is going to be Scratch. Scratch is a female dragon. She has more curved, straighter horns, which signifies a female dragon within the spice variety. She is a spice dragon, specifically a cinnamon spice dragon. These critters in particular shed during the winter months, so they get a little over accumulation of what we call dust or powders on them, which is literally just different spices. Most common are cinnamon and nutmeg, although sometimes you will find, despite the fact that it's not a spice, some that give you cocoa powder, which is also delicious if you want to add that to any drinks or baked goods. These are most commonly found, again, in like cafes, people who bake very often, or people that like to enjoy their drinks with a little bit of spice on top. So you see them quite often. They work really well with humans. They're pretty well domesticated, although they can live in the wild, very differently than the marshmallow dragons, which have a lot harder time living in the wild. Luckily, these spice dragons have a little bit of like a protection because usually animals don't really want to consume them because it's a very, very powerful taste. So commonly, sometimes they'll be used as like a salt lick or like a spice lick, I guess you can say, but they are not very commonly eaten by any other species, which is really good for them. Although with that aside, sometimes their shedding, which is just the spice they have on their scales, will be actually very much used by humans and use it in desserts and everything like that. Some people might find it gross, but these are spices that they create themselves, but taste almost identical to the ones that we create as humans. Scratch doesn't have a sad story. She literally just came in through an open window when one of the customers opened it and was very much attracted to the smell of drinks and baked goods, and so she goes to Kathy's counter and tends to walk around looking for something to rest in or on, and kind of makes a little bit of a mess as she goes. Unfortunately, sometimes you do get allergies when you obviously are around these types of dragons because of these spices in the air, so very commonly have tissues around so that way in case you need to sneeze or anything like that, you have something around you. If you already have allergies, maybe this isn't the best dragon to have around you, but you can also do things to kind of stop that from happening. So baths or putting them in like a warm drink does help. You could also brush them daily to help them with their spices or give them scratching posts. And if you want to do it in a smart way, you could actually put them in a little container. So that way when you brush or put the scratching post in, you can actually collect the little spice below so that you can actually use it for later use so that it's not going to waste. As you can also imagine, this is a tiny dragon. It literally fits in a mug. She's actually a little bit bigger than Mellow, a little bit bigger, but still in the tiny category. So she's about this big, but curled up, she can fit inside a mug. So she will probably take up half of your mug, which means that if you do have a drink and she does go inside of it, you might actually want to fill it up halfway or else it might overflow. So just keep that in mind if you decide to adopt her. As you can see, the font is a little bit small. So if you need a bit bigger font, there is a document on my Google Drive. I have everything there. So if you need to do that, that is available. I also have my stamp sheet. So of course, Scratch has her own stamp sheet if you are interested in that. And I also did have a little bit of an influence when I decided to name her Scratch because I do love Baldur's Gate, so it's like a little nod to one of the favorite games of all time for me. Remember that every single one is 1 gold, so when you adopt a dragon, you have to remove 1 gold from your character's currency, so make sure you don't forget to do that once you do so. The only prerequisite before you adopt is to do a prompt. Now, all these prompts usually have something that's not book related, so you could actually do something that's outside of reading, but there is always an option to do something that involves reading in case you don't really want to do the outside prompt. For the prompt to get Scratch or adopt her, you can either do a few things. You could do something that's very Halloween based, so have something sweet, a candy, maybe just something that you want to get for yourself. It doesn't have to be Halloween related, but just like a sweet treat for yourself and kind of get out of your way to have something good because, you know, we're all a little bit children at heart, and so it's nice to celebrate a little bit Halloween. If you have your own children, maybe you could steal some of their candy for Halloween and have your own. You could also dress up, so if you dressed up for Halloween, that can also count. I would even say like jack-o'-lanterns, doing all those types of things. I would say that that would count as well. So you could do one of those things in order to adopt her. But if you also want to do, or if you rather do a book prompt, for this one all you have to do is read a book that has something hot on the cover or in the cover. So that could be fire on the cover, that could be a sun on the cover, anything that we would consider to be hot. Maybe a beverage that is warm, etc., etc. If you really want to, you could do a human on the cover, but it could also involve something that is hot or spicy in the book, if you know what I mean. So if you want to do that, that is also fine too. It's whatever you prefer. If you'd rather do the book prompt, if you'd rather do the real life prompt, or if you want to do, you could do all of them if you want to. But with that short little video aside, that is all for my Adoptable Dragon. Thank you so much for being here. I spent a lot of time on this one. It took me a lot of time to draw. I already mentioned this on my Google document drive. I have a Q&A. I talk about how I do my art, and yes, I do these myself. I do not use AI. I do not do anything like that. These are all things I've made on Procreate on my iPad. It takes me a very long time to do, and so I appreciate you guys for sticking by and being a part of it. I will show you the references right here on the video. In regards to the mug itself, I actually did trace over it. Sometimes I do trace over images from real life, like actual photographs, so that I can make it more of a realistic representation. So this is the mug picture I use. This mug is actually very heavily available online, so if you actually want the mug, you can get it. But this is the one I use for the mug. For the actual claw of the dragon, I actually use a real life claw of a reptile, so that way it looked more realistic as well. So this is the claw I use. In regards to the actual dragon itself, I never ever trace for the dragons. I always make sure I actually do my own art for it. So this is the reference I used for the dragon's photo. It does have similarities, but it's not the same. I made sure that I did not trace it or anything. It just has like that similar face so that I could actually draw it without it being looking like a potato. So I'm not a horrible drawer. It looks like I'm a good one, but sometimes I have bad days and sometimes I have good days. Some quick little facts about spice dragons. As you can see in the picture of the dragon itself, a lot of the spice dragons have frills that replicate actual leaves because spice dragons can't fly. They don't have wings, but they do have little frills between all of their limbs so that they can glide. And it's said that they look like leaves falling from trees once they glide in the wild. And so a lot of their little frills will change color according to the season along with their scales. And so they camouflage in the wild a little bit better. So yes, their frills obviously take on the appearance of leaves, and it's really cool. It's a way that they could camouflage, and it looks really cute and pretty. There's a few extra facts about them that is not on the actual sheet itself on the Google Drive, so again, if you're interested, you could check out there. But with that aside, I think that is all for this video. Very quick and easy. I have a lot of different ideas I want to do in the future, so I'm hoping I will actually get to them. Again, I don't really like drawing as a hobby. It's not my real like kind of thing I enjoy doing. When I do it though, it makes me feel really good, but I don't love to draw, so this is taking me a little bit while to do, so I do apologize about that, but I still had a good time with this one. I literally like Scratch a lot. She's really cool. She is my most detailed. She took the most amount of time for all the critters so far, and so I am very happy with the result. If you want to leave something down below to show your appreciation, put a leaf, like obviously like the maple leaf emoji for autumn. It is pretty much going to be winter soon, but let's enjoy a little bit of the autumn before it's too late and the leaves falling from the trees. The best time of year in my opinion, when everything changes color. It's so pretty. So in order to commemorate our little Scratch, you could put a leaf emoji down below. It could be anyone, but mostly the maple leaf one if you want to. And if not, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. There should be an announcement, like I said, in the next 2 to 3 weeks maximum for the next chapter. I'm hoping I could get it up a little bit faster than I want to, but it'll be a very long video. A lot of things are going to be happening in that chapter, so I want to make sure I tell you every single detail so that way you don't get confused when the chapter is out. So hopefully I could do that soon and get it out for you all because you guys have been waiting and you guys have been amazing with it. So thank you so much for your patience, and I hope you will enjoy your month. So regardless if you are doing this right now on Halloween Day or doing this in the future when it's not even close to autumn, just thank you so much for participating in my readathon and my video. I just appreciate you all so much for being here. Have a great day, have a great reading month in November, and I hope to see you all soon. Goodbye everyone.